Welcome back everybody to my 49th update video. This is where I go back to 10 past product reviews in order and let you know which ones I continue to use after my review is over and which ones ended up in the boneyard. The videos covered in this update are numbers 481 through 490, March through May of 2023. So without further delay, let's get right to update number 49. Number 481 was an interesting gadget that allows you to make hard-boiled eggs into the shape of a cube. I'm not sure how useful that was, but I tried it out and here's how that went. I paid $11.97 for this. It's also an Amazon's choice. Now the claims are that this creates a square hard-boiled egg in about 15 to 20 minutes. Just place a warm peeled hard-boiled egg inside, stick in the fridge and get a square egg. I've got a brand new warm hard-boiled egg, placing it in the unit itself. Oh, it's kind of a tight squeeze. Kind of a tight squeeze. Now we place, I guess you'd call that a plunger of some sort on there. Now we're gonna screw it in place. You can kind of see the egg smashing up against the side there. Interesting. Wow, look at that, it's completely square. All right, here we go. I really don't know what to expect here. All right, so you're supposed to push this bottom outward like that, and, oh, we've got a perfectly square egg. Wow, that is insane, look at that. Look at that, that's insane. Look at that, crazy. Kind of gently put it in there. I kind of put the plunger in place here and just squish it. All right, there it is. All right, the second one is out of the fridge. Let's take a look here. Now, this one was actually in there for about an hour. Look at that. That is a beautiful square egg. Look at, wow. I mean, that is absolutely perfectly square. It came out beautiful. It also is nice when you don't have any pock marks in there from the peeling process, which I didn't in this one. All right, let me try cutting one of these open here. Just right down the center. Pretty interesting. So in the end, I have to say that it does work. It may not serve much of a purpose, but it does work. So in the end, I did use it a couple times after my review, just more for novelty purposes. But eventually the novelty wore off and it ended up in the boneyard. Number 482 was a collection of interesting sunglasses I'd been seeing advertising online last year. So I picked all three of them up and tried them out, and here's how that went. The Core magnetic sunglasses, let's see what we got here. They feel pretty nice. They feel very sturdy, probably sturdier than than most glasses I've tried. But that's not really the whole point of this. The point of these are the magnetic feature in here, which, wow, those are some strong magnets. Okay, well, that's not going anywhere. So the Core glasses, they feel fine, they look fine. It's more of a gray tint, where the Ombras was a amber tint. There's a lot of glare today, and I would think that the glare is certainly better with these. So there are higher end glasses. They kind of feel solid. They look good. I really don't have much complaints about as far as the appearance looks. The Ombras armless sunglasses. All right, the lenses look different, but look at these. This is just interesting. It's a strap. All right, it feels a little bit loose. I'll pull these to tighten. All right, that did tighten. It feels different because you don't even feel anything. I mean, you don't even really feel the strap. It barely even touches my head. You just kind of feel almost like you have these lenses just dangling off the front of your face. I'm not sure about the elastic frame yet, but I'm actually very convinced about these lenses. I really like the way everything looks. It's very clear. I would almost venture to say that things look clearer with these lenses. There's a lot less glare. I like them. I like the lenses. We have the Peak reversible sunglasses. This is the black configuration. Let's see what we got here. All right, they feel pretty standard. Indoors, it looks pretty good. Let me switch it out and flip it around and see how it looks in the other direction. So turn it 90 degrees, turn it around. All right, so now we've got it flipped around this way, but this is kind of weird how they're pointing outward instead of inward. Oh wow, it doesn't fit as well. It doesn't fit as well that way. What's interesting about the Peak glasses is that their tint is kind of almost in between the Core and the Ombras. It's kind of like a slight amber tint, not quite as amber as one, but more amber than the other. So which one is my favorite? I would say the Core has my favorite frames, and the Ombras has my favorite lenses. The Peaks didn't really win any categories. All right, so after that review is over, I put the Peak glasses away, and I never saw them again. But I did try to use the Cores and the Ombras, I don't know how to pronounce that. And after using them quite a bit, I ended up going with a Core, although it still really wasn't my main pair of sunglasses. But I did prefer the Core over these because eventually I didn't like the strap. You know, with the Core, you can take them off, you can put them on your shirt, put them on your head. You can't do that with these. With these, you have to put them around your neck, which I'm not a fan of. You can't put them on your shirt. I don't know, I prefer these feeling like regular sunglasses over these which don't. That strap really was kind of a deal breaker for me. I like them, but I don't like them as much as these. And I don't like these as much as some of the other glasses I have. But in that three-way comparison, the Core came out on top. Number 483 was the Blade Blocker, which is the updated version of the ID Police and ASEAN TV security roller. Now, I wasn't really impressed the first time around with the ID Police, so was the Blade Blocker better? Let's see how my review went. So I'm supposed to cut this tip off with some scissors and stick it in that hole right in there. I don't even know if this is working or not. I'll get it on my fingers here. Oh, come on. Wow, okay, this is just a big mess. I'll just kind of mark up a few random things on here. Well, no matter what I do, I cannot seem to block out some of that text. All right, it's been 24 hours. At first glance, they look pretty good, but let's take a closer look and see if they really held up. 1/31/2018, I can still read it. The most accurate, dependable, and efficient. I can read it. Spices and real pumpkin seeds to create this seasonal. I can definitely read that one. So 5 I can read, 2 I can't. That's not really a great track record now. All right, so the other feature of the Blade Blocker, in addition to being like the ID Police, is that it has a blade on it. What I'm going to do is compare this to a regular letter opener. There we go. All right, smooth as silk. Look at that. Look at that perfect straight line. Absolutely perfect. That's a pretty sad bunch of open letters. Let me get the actual letter opener here and see what I can do. I can go away from me or toward me. The Blade Blocker just got blade blocked. Every single one of these was straight as an arrow. In some cases you can wipe it off, in other cases a magnifying glass you can still see through it. The ratio of those that worked that didn't is not very good from my tests. The blade itself is kind of mediocre, not really better than my box cutter or my letter opener. So I don't think this is going to replace my shredder, box cutter, or letter opener. All right, so clearly I didn't continue to use this one. I think it was probably worse than the ID Police. This is one of those things that seems like a good idea until you actually use it. But unfortunately the Blade Blocker ended up in the boneyard. Number 484 was a cotton candy maker, which was kind of fun to test out. And here's how my test went. The Nostalgia Hard Candy Cotton Candy Maker supposedly allows you to make cotton candy in your very own home. You have the unit itself. That includes this lid here, which comes off, and I did wash that out. It also comes with 2 reusable cones and a scoop, and that's pretty much it. Here's what it looks like on the inside. Now you're supposed to dump the candy or the sugar in there. And down here is the power button. That's pretty much all there is to it. And we're off. Okay, 10 minutes from now, I'm gonna come back and get started. We're at 10 minutes. It's time to get started. Next up, I turn the unit off. There we go, 1 scoop of strawberry. And I just spilled some. Oh, and there we go. We have a web forming. We have a web forming. Oh, wow. Oh, whoa. I think maybe I'm supposed to just do like this. We have cotton candy forming though. I guess I just keep going until there's no more formed. No, it's still forming. It's a little bit lopsided. I think that's pretty much it. That looks pretty good if you ask me. Look at that. That's my final cotton candy. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm very impressed. So I think that it looks pretty good. One more thing I should point out is like I've noticed that I'm getting like cotton candy bits flying around in here. You probably can't see it, but I'm seeing cotton candy bits flying around. There is definitely smoke coming out of there. It is smoking. It wasn't smoking the first time, it is smoking the second time. But you know, you're having a kids party, you could probably park someone on this and keep kids somewhat occupied. Although at a minute or 2 piece, it might be kind of a long line. You could just take it right off of here if you wanted to. You don't have to even use the cone. But texture-wise, it's perfect. Look at this. Just like you would expect cotton candy at the circus. So it's perfect, I think. This is one of those things I left out for a while, but eventually I kind of threw in the towel because it's not really the kind of thing that I make that often anyways. I can't say there was much of a demand for cotton candy around here, so I ended up giving this one away. Number 485 was an ASEAN TV product called the Bionic Zoom, which I tested out against a popular Amazon competitor. It was kind of an interesting test, and here's how that went. All right, let's take a look at the Bionic Zoom here. I paid 30 bucks for this at a local Walmart. The claims are that it's an 8x telescope that can fit in your pocket. They say you can spot objects up to 50 miles away. Just turn the wheel to focus. The color, it looks like it's maybe some sort of like a child's toy from Burger King or something. The feature on this one is really all you have to do. If you wear glasses, you can turn this until they look right, and then here's the focus. That's it. There's the strap, although the straps come off like twice when I'm walking around, so I don't think it's really that great. It definitely seems like the outer edges of the picture are kind of blurry, and the center is in focus. It's pretty good. I'm not sure if I'm blown away by it, but the quality is pretty good right in the center, but it does get blurry to the outside edges. All right, now this one seems like it's not as blurry to the edges. All right, we got ducks in focus. We have ducks again. We have ducks. This is an old phone. This is a 4-year-old phone. And guess what? I didn't have to struggle with it. This is absolutely horrific. This one doesn't even have a tripod. And I think my phone did at least as well as far as taking pictures goes. All right, here's the Bionic Zoom. Looks like the magnification is a little bit better. The edge is maybe not as good. Picture clarity not quite as good, but it does zoom in a little bit more. The Bionic Zoom has a bit of a fisheye effect, and the edges are kind of blurry. Not to mention the Amazon has all those accessories, although I wouldn't use the one for your phone. I would just use my phone to film with rather than go through there. I left that one out for a few months, and then it kind of migrated its way all the way to the boneyard. I never saw it again. But to me, the Zoom really wasn't that great. Using it for photos was even worse. I'd rather just use my phone for all those things. So in the end, it wasn't better than using a phone. It wasn't even as good as using a phone. So this one ended up in the boneyard. Number 486 was a comparison of the as seen on TV My Foldaway Fan versus the more expensive Venti. Let's see how that comparison went. Comparing the Venti fan with the My Foldaway Fan. This one was 80 bucks, it was on Kickstarter, it's advertising online. This one's 40, it's an as seen on TV product, but advertised on television. So even though they look pretty similar, there are some definite differences between the two of these. Not a big difference in weight, the Venti is 2.6 pounds, while the My Foldaway Fan is 2. The controls are a little bit different for these. The Venti obviously has its own remote control. My Foldaway Fan only has 3 buttons. You press this and hold for 3 seconds to turn it on. And here you've got low, medium, high. Press for medium, press for high. The Venti, you've got more controls here. Now you can just control everything from the unit itself or from the remote control. From the unit itself, you press once for on, that's gonna start on low, which is level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. There's no indication what level you're on, you have to just kind of figure it out. All right, so the My Foldaway Fan at point blank, I'm getting anywhere from like 5.1 to 4.2. The Venti fan looks like 5.1. So they're roughly the same. Let's check out the charging feature real quick here. So let's try output. And we do have charging, and this has 16,000 milliamp hours, so that would fully charge a phone up. If you look at the thickness of the fan on the My Foldaway Fan versus the thickness of the Venti is thinner. As far as the height goes, the My Foldaway Fan I think is 40 inches. The Venti is not quite that tall. It does sound like the My Foldaway Fan is just a little bit louder, not significant, and they're on high though. Now on low, they sound about the same. On high, the My Foldaway Fan is a little bit louder, not significant though. All right, so in the end, if I had to choose between the two of these, I would take the My Foldaway Fan, mainly because of the cost. To me, this is a $20 fan and this is a $40 fan, and they're both double that. I don't think I would use a lot of the features that you're paying extra for. I like the remote, but I don't really need it. The bigger battery is nice, but I never really felt like the smaller battery here hindered my use of it. So to me, the cheaper of the two is the way I'd go, because I just need a down and dirty fan, and this fits the bill. So in the end, I ended up using both of them. I actually have the Venti sitting nearby here. Now I didn't use it in the winter, but I used it all summer and into the fall. Both of them held up. Both of them I had in different parts of my house. So really, I was pretty happy with both of these. Number 487 was a collection of Dreamfarm Gadgets. I've done several of those over the years. Those are always fun to test out, and here's how my test went. Let's take a look at the Sharpel Always Sharp Safety Peeler. Here it is. The claims are that it's a peeler that automatically sharpens every time you move the cover back or forth. Oh wow, that's very, very sharp and very smooth. Wow, that blade is sharp. Wow, that's like butter. I'm using almost no pressure whatsoever. Very impressive. This is the Mini Flisk. The claims are that it's a mini whisk that twists to create 3 whisks in one: balloon whisk, sauce whisk, or flat whisk. Unfurl this into the balloon whisk configuration and see what we got. And I'm getting some batter mixed in here. Let me move down to the middle position. Maybe it won't get us stuck. It doesn't get us stuck. They were showing it going flat and then just wiping off the edges. Oh yeah. Much easier to clean than a traditional whisk, I would say. Very quick. It's time for the O-Grate two-sided speed grater. You can grate an up and down motion on one side or a circular motion on the other. All right, it's definitely working. Oh yeah. Oh, that is pretty fast. Here is the Flusser, the Fold Flat Easy Juicer. Now the claims of this uses folding action to squeeze fruit from the inside and outside for maximum juice extraction. Insert a lime into the device itself. Oh, there's a lot of room in there. And we squeeze. Oh, it takes a little bit of elbow grease. And it smells like lime in here. Wow, it's like completely shredded. Look at that. Put the lemon in the unit itself and squeeze. Oh, there's a lot of juice. Oh, something just ejected out of there. My favorite of the bunch is the round end of the O-Grate. I think for speed grating, you really can't beat that. Kind of impressed with the Sharple. Now, it may not be made of the highest quality materials I've ever tried, but it might be the best peeler I've ever tried. Now, as far as the mini Flisk goes, I did like it. I thought it worked pretty well. And finally, the Flusser. I think if you're looking for a manual juicer, this one does a great job. It does require a bit of effort. It doesn't always catch the seeds, and sometimes things will squirt out the sides. So that collection, clearly the O-Grate is one I still use. I still like it. As you can see, it's no worse for wear. I do use this pretty regularly. I mean, for larger items, you really can't use this as well because you can't do that circular motion. But for smaller items, it's perfect. I use it regularly and I recommend it all the time. Number 488 was a collection of as seen on TV cooling gadgets. Let's first flash back to the original review and see how that went. All right, this is the Arctic Air Grip Go. Oh, we already have mist. We already have, it was very quick. I mean, it feels like a cool fan. It doesn't feel ice cold like a air conditioner, but it is misting. The mist looks like it goes about this far and then it just dissipates. I don't really, beyond there, it doesn't really feel too much colder. Up close, it does feel pretty cool. Now they have this big clip here, which you can supposedly attach to a table. It's honestly not that firm. It's kind of flopping around a little bit. So if I go to adjust it this way, I'm gonna turn left and right. It's actually moving off of the table. Next up, let's try the Go Fan Flip. Now all this really is just a little fan that flips out. I did not see this on Amazon, so I have no pros and cons from there to report. Starts off on low, medium, high, and off. They say the blades are safe. Let's try the knuckle test. And not too bad. Oh, and it turns off. That's a kind of nice feature. Into the phone. Let's see, are we charging? So it's going to charge up. You can fold it out all the way back around, stand on the desk, and it can be used as a stand. Now this is not a new item, but I did pay $12.98 for this at Walmart. See, attaching it to the side of the desk. Okay, it does attach nicely. And can I use one hand to adjust it? You can pretty much go 360. You can go any direction that way, any direction this way. So it is a true 360 fan. All right, so it feels nice. It feels like a regular fan. It feels a lot like this one. Number 3, very unfortunately, I'm kind of reluctant, but it's got to be the Arctic Air Grip Go. I really liked this one, but the fact that the battery dies and then you can't run it while it's charging, that's kind of a deal breaker for me. Number 2 is going to be the Go Fan Flip. I like how it can fold up and fit into a purse or a pocket. The battery life is excellent and the safety blades work pretty well too. So that means number 1 is going to be the Go Fan. Now it's kind of by default because if this didn't have that major flaw, I'd pick this one. But as is, this is my choice. It's pretty versatile, pretty good battery life, and I like the fact that you can use it while it's charging. All right, so of that bunch, the Go Fan is the one I kept using. I put it away after the summer was over. That's why it's labeled here, so when I pull it out later, I'd know where to find it. But I kept this on, I clipped it at my desk and I used it quite a bit. I actually found it to be quite versatile. I like the way you can rotate it pretty much any direction. So to me, the Go Fan was the one that I kept using. Number 49 was a Stick-It roller, which is a product I saw going around online and looked kind of familiar. Let's see how that review went. And here it is, and if it looked familiar to you, you're not alone. It looks a lot like the Sticky Buddy that I reviewed 4 years ago, and it was a pretty old product back then. Even the handles are pretty much the same. So what they say in the video for the Stick-It roller is you can use it, and then when it gets full, you rinse it off with warm water and keep going. Well, that's pretty sticky. It actually lifted the shirt up. Wow, it works really well. Look at that. Now let's go to the shorts. I've got it on both sides of these shorts here, but I'm just gonna do half for right now. And it looks like we got a little bit on the roller, but I guess we can keep going. Let's keep going. All right, looks like it's running out of steam here. It's not picking up everything. All right, I think it's full. So he just dipped it in there, and then you just kind of dry it off on a white towel. Oh, it definitely sticks. It definitely sticks when you go back up again. All right, overall, it's actually kind of impressive how much it removes, so I'm happy about that. I'm gonna try rinsing it off one more time here. I mean, it does pick it up until it gets full, and then it just stops. And I'm also dripping on there too. It's working on the shorts. Let's try the salt test with the mini here. Let's see what we got. Not bad, not bad. So in the end, I do think that the Stick It roller does work pretty much as advertised. I think eventually it's gonna get less and less sticky, and if you have a lot to clean off, it's gonna be kind of a task to keep rinsing it off. I did continue to use this, but it became less and less effective over time. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. I have a recently cleaned off Stick It roller here, and some fresh coffee grounds. So it does work, but it just doesn't work as well as when I first got it. So there's some left behind, so I don't know. It seems like its effectiveness is still there, but not as good. So I think the Stick It roller does work until it doesn't work so well. Number 490 was a low-rated food chopper on Amazon that I wanted to see if I can get to work. It was kind of fun to test out, and here's how my test went. All right, let's take a look at the Aragold 4-in-1 portable electric chopper. Powerful motor, space-saving design, ergonomic grip, easy to clean, good for chopping or dicing vegetables. I should also point out the tamper here actually has a peeler built into it, so I want to try that as well. Let's see what we got. Oh, not bad. It's an average peeler. It's a little bit awkward, but it's certainly good. All right, it doesn't really lock. It just kind of presses on there. There's no locking. So I can't press too hard, I guess. Let me try one more time. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, come on. Stop popping off on me. Oh, it's just gonna keep coming off. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Now that worked pretty well. I think both of them worked pretty well. It's just this on the carrot, it was so firm it was pushing the bottom off, but not too bad really. It came off again. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, it did a really good job with those. All right, so here's the final results. Besides the fact that this keeps coming off, I kind of like it. Let's try something a little bit harder than walnuts. How about some chunks of cheese? Oh, did not like that at all. Whoa. Okay, it's kind of working. As a scrubbing brush, it's actually pretty good. I have nothing to complain about it. So even though I don't think it was as bad as some of the reviews implied it wasn't the kind of thing that I reached for very often. In fact, I only reached for it maybe once after my review was over. And after that, it ended up in the boneyard. Well, that's it for this update. I would say of this batch, the ones I use the most would be the Dreamfarm O-Grate, the 2 folding fans, and the Go fan. If I had to pick the worst of the bunch, I'd probably go with the blade blocker. But that's all I've got. I'll be back in about another month for my next update video. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.